Hello and welcome to Prairie Pulse. Today on the show, we'll talk with some authors who wrote a book, Hutterites. And this book was written by the 9, Our Story to Freedom. 9 people who left the Hutterite colony and grew up and were raised in it. Joining us first are Cindy and Rodney Waldner.
Hi,
Rodney, Cindy, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
As we get started, tell the folks a little bit about yourselves and how you're related to each other.
Well, we both grew up in a Hutterite colony near Brandon, Manitoba, that's in Canada. And we grew up next to each other because we're cousins, and we knew each other because we saw each other every day in a Hutterite colony. You eat together, you go to school together. So that's how we know each other, because we saw each other every day, and we're very close.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about, explain to the people who are the Hutterites and what do they believe in?
The Hutterites are similar to the Amish and the Mennonites. They're all 3 of the Anabaptist sect, and the Hutterites differ in that they live communally. They have about 100 people per community. Some are smaller. Ours was about 60. And then there's one person in charge of the whole income, which is way different than Mennonite and Amish. They're more family. So the Hutterites differ a lot in that way. And then also what they believe in, they come from the Anabaptist movement, and also they've made it to where the Hutterite colony has become the way to salvation, which, unlike their forefathers died for their faith in Jesus Christ, and they were against anything that was not according to the Word of God, which they've come full circle now to where they are persecuting those that actually want to follow and serve Jesus Christ personally from their heart, which we experienced in our life. Is as soon as we made Jesus personally, a personal relationship, and we said that we have salvation in Jesus Christ and not through the colony or that way of life, we were being shunned, some were being excommunicated, shunned, persecuted for their faith. So they've come full circle to what they stood for, their forefathers. They now persecute Christians.
Rodney, talk some about the structure of the colony and the between men and women.
Okay. They have their own school. They have public teachers that the government are hired by the government. And until age 5, you're taken care of by your parents and maybe some kindergarten teachers. But then you go to school, and you have English school and German school. So you'll have an hour in the morning, and then you'll have most all day you go to the English school, like people in the outside world. And then, but men and women, for example, like men have all the voting power and all the say-so, where women do pretty much what the men tell them to do. They just submit to the husband. And as far as the structure goes, I mean, it's very regimented, where the men have what you would call the voted jobs, and the women take care of the children. But there's a bell that rings. Let's say in the morning, you go to breakfast, the bell rings, and then you go to work, and then the bell rings and you go to dinner. And then the men are separated from the women, like in the dining hall, and then the children are separated also from the parents. So there's a certain structure, and then when you actually turn 15, that's when you become a member, or not so much a member, but that's when you start really getting into the workforce, where you actually have a full-time job.
Yeah, it's required that you be at work after that age.
Okay, well, Cindy, tell us about some of the things that I might take for granted that are either not allowed or not within the colony.
Well, there's 3 big things that we experience: is the freedom of religion, freedom of speech, and the freedom of education. And as soon as we started to follow and serve the Lord Jesus Christ, my family was being excommunicated for it. My brother, and then my dad was standing with him, and my uncle, and he was being excommunicated. So, and then freedom of speech, I didn't have a voice in the colony. I had to do what I was told to do, and I couldn't choose what I wanted to do. I couldn't choose a career. Like freedom education, people can choose what they want to do for the rest of their life. I couldn't. That's what I grew up in. That's what I had to do for the rest of my life. There was nothing bigger. The biggest dream was to get married and have children. That's how big I could dream. Now looking at it, I can dream so big. I can do anything. I never knew that I could preach the word of God. I could go and help somebody else. I can go and pray for somebody, which now I can do, and I love that. My life is not just for myself. God wants me to help others, and that's what I find so much joy in now, is to be able to help others in situations where they're struggling with, that I've gone through, that I can help them. And my world was so small that I couldn't see beyond myself.
Rodney, so y'all were in the same colony, as you said.
Yes.
So why did you end up leaving the colony, and how difficult a decision was it?
It was actually very difficult, John, just to start off with. But the reason, like for example, that I left, because my dad at age 41 received Jesus Christ into his heart and became a Christian, like the Bible says. But then he got persecuted because there was like 30 to 40 members that would come, like Hutterite elders, leaders, ministers that came and actually questioned him. And they actually excommunicated him and kicked him out because they asked him, can you call someone on the outside a brother or sister in the Lord? Can you consider them a Christian? He said yes. That's when he lost his job. He lost all his position. He actually didn't get kicked out of the house. That's the only right he could have. They even tried to kick him out of the house. They even went to an attorney, but they said, we can't do it because there's children in the house. So my dad started working out. But because I wasn't a baptized member, I was like, okay, I better start working out here and start making money, because you leave with nothing. Because as a Hutterite, once you get baptized, especially like my dad, you sign a constitution. Hutterites have their own constitution, where you sign and say that you give up all your rights, your energies, your earnings, anything you have. So if you leave with the clothes on your back, that's even stealing. So for me, it's like, I have to leave the colony. I have to start working. It's hard. I'm 20 years old, and that's the only world I've ever known. I don't know how you people function on the outside world. Our world was so small, but I was basically thrown into it. And I received Jesus Christ too then after my dad did. So I left the Hutterite colony and I went to Cindy's sister, actually, which she lived outside the colony and still does. So I went to stay there for a while and just to get some support. So to me, pretty much the only way you can leave is if you have somebody on the outside that will actually help you.
Oh yeah, I don't think I would have ever left if I wouldn't have had the help that we did have.
Well, you made a comment though, you couldn't take anything with you, so did you leave with literally nothing?
Just clothes, Hutterite clothes, that's all I had to leave with. I didn't have much of anything else.
A little bit of furniture.
I didn't have any of that.
But I had to get money from a friend who helped me buy a car, which I paid back, just to start you could say, the ball rolling in the outside world.
All right, well, since leaving, and I guess, how long have you been gone?
7 years.
7 years.
Very
All right,
close.
since leaving, have you had any contact with members of the colony, or, what was the reaction towards you when you left?
That's a very good question, John. And it has been somewhat limited, because for us to leave the colony, and we have been very outspoken after we have left the colony, and even just writing the book is something that Hutterites for the most part don't do. But as far as going back, just for an example, I wanted to go back and visit my grandpa, and he still lives in the Hutterite colony. So I called him and said, can I come back and visit you? Because he didn't know when he died if he's going to heaven. He wanted me to come and help him and pray with him, which I wanted to. So I called the minister, and as I said, can I come and visit my grandpa? I'd like to pray for him. He said, if you're going to talk about that Jesus, you are not welcome in this colony. So are we welcome there? Not really. I mean, you could go there and visit without asking and stay for a while, but we really aren't welcome because we're too outspoken. We have too bold of a faith, it seems like, and we're standing for the truth. We left, we're speaking the truth. We love Jesus. We want other people to be free. We don't consider ourselves better than anybody else, but we have tasted of the, what do you want to say, freedom in the outside world, which I know a lot of Hutterites haven't. So I just want to inspire them, just put that little bit of a spark in them, that, hey, you can make it on the outside world, you can be successful, and you're not going to hell just because you left the Hutterite colony because you were born there.
So what's the adjustment been like living in the so-called English world?
It's been a big challenge, but it's also been a lot of fun. I mean, the challenge for me, I didn't think I could even have a driver's license. I thought I wasn't smart enough. I thought I must be different than anybody else in the English world. They must be smarter than I am. So realizing God created me just like anybody else. We're human beings, we have talent, we have gifts that I can drive. So it was tough to realize how to function at first, but then learning step by step, okay, how to drive, how to, like, first of all, what is my worth? Like, God loves me. That God's loving grace and salvation through Jesus Christ is not just limited to a specific group of people. It is so much bigger. It's for anybody that desires truth, that wants that hope. And now I can take that to others. Like in our work, my biggest thing is to be able to talk to people, just love them, show them that somebody cares about them. And that's the big thing that I love now that I can do. It. I can reach out to others, which in the colony I could not do. There was no reaching out or having somebody join. It was just themselves. They're so close society that there's nothing new.
Well, there's a question I need to ask here. It might be a little awkward, but I want to ask it. With so few people in the colony, how is the gene pool kept from what so-called, I guess, inbreeding? Because as before we came on the air, you said there's only about 12 last names in the Hutterite community. And Matt O'Lean, our producer here, grew up near a colony in southeast North Dakota, and he even heard stories of recruiting young men to be a part to try to change that. Can you respond to that?
I mean, I have heard stories going along with what you just said. I mean, I've even had someone come up to me and said that he was approached by Hutterites that wanted him to just change the gene pool, just change it up a little bit, because Hutterites, like Cindy said, they don't reach out. They don't, there's like next to nobody that ever joins the colony. And why would you? I mean, why would you? I mean, I believe a lot of the reason the Hutterites do live there is because they don't know any better. So for somebody that knows that has tasted of the outside to go back, it's pretty much impossible to do. And so I have heard those rumors.
I do believe that they might see the danger of it because such a close society, but they know they can't just take anybody from the outside and have them join, because you have to be born and raised in that lifestyle to be able to stay there, because you have to give up all your rights. And if you've experienced that freedom, you're not going to just give it up. Well,
with your book, how long has your book been out?
It's been out for since August 19.
Okay, since August 19th. 9 of you wrote it. You told me it took about 2 years to get this put together.
Yes.
What do you hope people get out of it if they read it, real quick?
A message of hope, that story, being able to relate to it, that how we got through a problem, through a struggle, how Jesus Christ helped us through it, that if there's anybody going through something similar, it is a message of hope to people to find the way out of the problem.
And it's not just for Hutterites. Hutterites and non-Hutterites alike. A lot of people struggle with depression, rejection. It's not just for us because we grew up a Hutterite colony. Maybe some of the things we went through might be more extreme, but I believe a lot of people can relate.
Rodney, Cindy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, John. It's been a pleasure.
We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. We thank Rodney and Cindy for joining us. And now we have 2 more of the 9 authors of Hutterites. And we have now joining us Jason and Junia Waldner, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
As we get started, tell the folks a little bit about yourself and your relationship.
He married my sister, and I left when I was 22 years old. I left the Hutterite colony in Brandon, Manitoba.
And I left from the Grand Forks colony. It's just a few miles there from Grand Forks.
Well, all right, now, as Rodney and Cindy were both from Brandon, and they told us a little bit about the Brandon colony. Jason, tell us about, what was it like growing up in your colony?
For me, I felt very much when I was younger, I was okay. But the older I got, as more restrictions were placed on me. And I grew up very confused because Hutterites all have the same rules, but one colony keeps the rules more than others. So in our colony, we were allowed to have bikes where other colonies weren't allowed to. So at times we would have to hide our own bikes because stricter colonies would come to visit. And they would go that way with radios and other stuff as well. So I grew up very confused. Is it wrong to have bikes or is it right to have bikes? If it's right, why don't we allow them? If it's wrong, well, then nobody should have them.
Well, so there were some differences then, but was it pretty much the same between, say, Brandon and Grand Forks colonies?
Very much the same, because all Hutterites live under the
Okay.
same rule, the same dress, they have the same church services, they're the same prayers, and that way all Hutterites are the same.
Junia, we'll ask you a couple of questions here. Did you ever wonder what it was like on the outside world? What you think when you go into town and sort of see other people?
Yeah, it always was a question to me how it would be to live out there. But the thoughts that I have of living out there were always scary. Like there was more sin and you could fall into sin more, and it would be worldly to be out there and be able to do what you want to do. So that's the thoughts I had, and even going to town, it was always this thing of the dress code.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would walk with my dress, knowing I stick out and people would scream, Hutterites, okay, you can't hide that you're Hutterite with the clothes, but in a way I thought, I am so much more modest than any of the other women that I saw in town.
Well, wait a minute then. So talk about the dress code some. What was the dress code and why was it?
Well, the women wear the head covering, which I think it is being submitted to the man somehow. So the women have to wear it, and they have a homemade dress, one pattern, can be various colors,
And the
light
guys,
or darker.
for us guys, would wear suspenders and then black pants. That was the only color of pants we could wear. That's why I still don't wear black jeans anymore.
Is that right? Well, we didn't talk about this, but the difference of, say, Hutterites, Amish, Mennonites.
Well, the Hutterites will embrace technology because they've become a big business in a lot of ways. It's about traditions where that personal relationship, I know Rodney and Cindy covered that quite a bit, but that's what I found lacking, and that's why we all left.
Yeah. Junia, I want to come back to you for a minute. What about your role as a woman within the colony and how you were treated there?
I'd say the thing that hurt me the most when I was there, and hurts me the most when I look at the women still there, is that there is no individuality. You're just another woman. Like it's not, okay, today Junia's gonna do this. No, it's today the women will do that. And the women have the same dress. Like it's all the same. You're in a group, you're not an individual person. And the role that I had as a woman was to cook, clean, garden, and eventually when you're of age, you'd hope to get married and have kids. And that is the highest role and dream that you can have, is getting married. I mean, you never have a career, okay, I want to do this with my life. The option is not there.
Okay. You talked about the dress code and a little bit about that. What was it like when you went to town? And
For me, I still remember the first time I walked into a restaurant with just normal so-called English clothes on, and wow, nobody's looking at me. I fit in here. I'm just one of like everybody else. That feeling is indescribable.
And it is different for Hutterite men and women in the colony. The women or the men can hide more, can wear maybe a dark blue jeans. Some colonies can get away with it, and maybe a bit of a colored jacket. I mean, I remember going to town with some of the guys that I was from. I mean, they would walk on the other side of the mall, so people might not know they're Hutterites, but if they'd walk with the girls, okay, everybody would know they're Hutterites. And they didn't want to be noticed as a Hutterite, so they'd walk the opposite side, okay?
well, talk about your decisions to leave your respective colonies. Was this something gradual, or was it just picking up and leaving?
It took me a year of struggling or more to come to the decision to leave. The actual day of leaving wasn't so bad because I'd already made up my mind. But knowing I'm going to make this step and there is no turning back, and because it was very scary to know what's out there. I didn't know what's out there. So making the decision took me quite a while, but it's so worth it now. I'm glad I made that decision.
Yeah, the decision didn't happen in one day for me. I kind of thought about leaving, okay, we'll have to because we don't fit in here, because we want to serve Jesus. We don't fit in, we stick out, everybody's looking at you weird. And then a couple months before I left, we were excommunicated. We were told not to go to church or be part of any work anymore. So basically, all you do is sit in the house all day, we'd go for walks, but it was the most awkward times of my life, is those few months when you can't be part of what the other colony members do. I just stayed home, so it was like 3 months after that I left.
Well, as we talked with Rodney and Cindy, they basically said they left with very little. Was it the same for you two?
Yeah.
The colony didn't give us anything, but we had people on the outside. I got a used car right when I left, and they helped me out in that way and helped me find a job shortly thereafter and helped us even start businesses. We have our own businesses now, all the 9. Some of us, the girls, do house cleaning. Us guys
Resident.
do construction and carpentry. And so, yes, very successful, and we enjoy doing having our own businesses.
Now, with the 9 here that wrote this book, were y'all all involved with businesses, or do you have your own businesses? I mean, how does that work?
Well, there's a few different ones. Like there's the construction business in the United States and Canada, and then there's 2 different cleaning businesses in the United States and Canada. But we're still family. We'll help out each other in all various businesses wherever anybody needs help.
We have a very strong support group in that way.
Okay. Well, what's the reaction been from fellow colony members and since you left? I mean, you mentioned it. Have you been in contact with many since you left?
Well, for me, my parents are still back there, and I still have siblings back there. And since we wrote the book, especially, our relationship is practically zero now. I haven't talked with them because they don't agree with what we're doing, even speaking up. But we believe that by speaking up, change can come. Just staying quiet would have been very easy for us to just live our own life. But we feel like we feel a great responsibility to speak up and share what happened to us, to encourage other people, not just Hutterites, any people that are struggling. That, hey, if it worked, we can get out, we can be successful, anybody can find help. And for us, we cried out to God, and that's what helped us. And so other people can do the same thing.
So it took you 2 years, I believe, basically to write the book.
Yeah, around that.
It's been out since August. So what's been the reaction to the book so far since you've been traveling around and promoting it, I guess?
It's unbelievable to know how many people are standing with us and supporting us and praying for us. People we don't know, we've never heard of before. They send us emails saying they read it and how they encourage us to continue on, to stand strong, and to know that they are praying for us is what helps us to keep going.
Yes. We've even had a minister from the Hutterite colony come and have a book signed, and he even invited us out to the colony for supper. Very supportive. Hutterites have come and say it's all true in the book. So we've noticed a big difference between Hutterites that have read the book and those that haven't. Those that have see that we're just coming across with love, that we have nothing personal against them. Because when we wrote the book, we don't mention any names, because it isn't anything personal against anybody. We love the Hutterites. We love people everywhere.
Okay.
And we understand for those Hutterites that stand against it, they're protecting the only life that they ever knew. I understand it. I did it at one point too. But now I know that there is a different life. There's a life. It's not about what I do outward, the things that I'm able to do now that I left. That freedom first came on the inside. That hope that I always wanted, I have now. That the hopelessness is not there anymore. Jesus Christ healed my soul, that I am free now. But the things that I'm able to do now is a bonus, and I do enjoy it.
Speaking of that, just for a moment here, how has that adjustment been? You've been in the English world, I'll call it, for a number of years now. Are you still adjusting, or how was the adjustment, and how long did it take you to feel like it was working for you?
It took a while for me to realize, hey, I was lied to here. To actually come to, not everything I was raised with was the truth. So able to admit to that first, and then go on from there. And yes, we still struggle with certain things at times with the way we were raised, and I have to fight with it every day. But it's working. Us leaving.
Yeah, I knew right away that is the change that I need. That knowing that I have a purpose, and it's a specific purpose. It's not like all the other women. That gave me the freedom and the desire to go on, find out who I am. But it's still hard at times to associate with outside people, because you always have the mindset you'll never fit in. There's no way that people on the outside can understand me. That's what I was told and I was raised to believe. So that, I believe, still hinders me a bit, and something I still have to work out.
Okay. Well, again, name of your book, Hutterites, It was written by, again, the Nine. We've had 4 of you on today, but how did 9 of you get together and write a book? I mean, were you able to just compromise, or how did you put it down into words?
We each wrote our own personal chapter. So we sat down, each wrote it, but then we had to get together and make sure we're not repeating ourselves, make sure, we don't overlap too much in that way.
So we had to give and take.
Yes.
If I wrote something that somebody else wrote, okay, one of us has to give it up because we can't repeat that much. So it's a give and take.
It was a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to find out more information or they want to get a copy of your book, what's the best thing to do? Where can they go?
Well, on our website, it's www.the9, spelled out, THENINE, number 9.com. And on there, there's events. There's even all the retail stores that carry the books. That list is growing all the time. This book is selling very well.
Okay. Well, Jason and Junia, we're just about out of time, but I want to thank you for coming by and talking to us about your book.
Thank you so much, John.
I really
thank you.
appreciate being here.
Well, that's all we have on Prairie Pulse for this week. And as always, thanks for watching.